Hi guys, welcome back to Habitual Crypto. My name's Dan, and here on the channel we like to make good habits in trading. So if you like finding the best strategies to trade cryptocurrency, hit that subscribe and follow button and give this video a like. Today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin live here as it continues kind of sloping down at a slow rate, but there may be some more downward trends to be keeping an eye on. But on the other hand, Ethereum hitting all-time highs again today. We will take a look at both of those charts as well as the Bitcoin dominance chart. And we'll see kind of where we stand on alts versus Bitcoin and, just some key levels to watch. So, no news today. We're just going to go through the charts here, and then we'll jump right into any altcoins you guys are interested in. So with that, let's look at the Bitcoin chart here. So this is the daily chart from the entire alt cycle so far. So Bitcoin, was doing very, very well, has done very, very well. And now we've kind of rounded the corner here. We lost our main, we lost a couple of our main trend lines here with the upward trends. And you can see when we lost this one that we had been in since February, we did drop down to about 51,500 roughly. And just some key levels to watch. So pretty much the whole time we've been in this bull cycle, we've been getting nice bounces off the 21-day moving average. And if we did lose the 21-day moving average, we normally got a bounce right around the 50-day moving average. So that has happened the entire time. We lost the 21-day and got a bounce off the 50 3 times now. And now this is the first time, and this is why, we have some level of, short-term pain we might have to go through. But the question is, where did we get the bounces in previous cycles when the 50-day was lost? So if we go back to 2017, we're going to go all the way back here. I'll put it on auto for a second. So this is the 2017 bull cycle here. So if I switch to the weekly here, you can get a good sense. We did have some 40% correction, some 30% correction. So this was all, this is normal. But when we did get those bigger corrections, a lot of the time, like you can see here and here and here and here, we got a bounce off the 21-week moving average. So it happened quite a bit in 2017 when we had the bigger drops. So now going back to where we are now, this is the weekly for Bitcoin. The levels we're going to be watching here are going to be, right now that's around $44,000. So we have $44,000, and we have our previous dip here, which was our last major bottom, and one of our last all-time highs are about 43,000. So I'm looking lowest. This is worst case scenario, I believe, is getting down to between 43 and 44,000 in the time being, for the time being. Now we can kind of go in here, we'll go on the hourly and just kind of get an idea of where we stand here. And honestly, this does not look too good for me. I was hoping we were going to hold this trend line here in the short term, but again, that didn't happen. We dipped below it yesterday, but got back above it. And now it's looking like currently, like in real time, we're about to touch the major bottom we had when we had that big dump the other day. So that target is going to be right at 51,540. So we've already almost touched it here on the hourly. We will see if we do lose that. I'm looking at 50 as a big potential support level. I'm also looking around 47 to 48,000. So just going to put it right at 47.5. So roughly there. These are the three levels in the short term I would be watching. And, over the next few weeks, I'm looking at, between 43 and 44 for a major bottom where this really, where the selling really ends. So yeah, I mean, and again, I have talked about this over the past few weeks. I did think we would get another kind of move up to about 75,000 before we had, this downward, basically cool off period. I'm not so sure we're going to get that anymore. The macro, it's kind of weird with Bitcoin because the macro technical analysis does not look, it looks bearish at this point. The fundamentals for Bitcoin could not be any more bullish in my opinion. So it's, it's kind of tricky to figure out what's going to happen with Bitcoin here, but I'm going to, I'm going to sway more on the side of what the technicals look like at this point in time because we did have such a massive run up. I said we could have a month or two of a cool down period, and I think that we're in the beginning of that. So, but again, my bottom levels are between 43 and 44,000. I don't think we're going to go lower than that. And I don't think there's any reason to worry even if we go down to those levels. We will still be making on a macro scale, on a weekly chart, basically higher highs and higher lows. Or at least on like a monthly chart. So I'm really not too worried about it. If anything, it could be very good for Bitcoin, where a lot more institutional money could jump in at those levels after it's already hit 65. 45 is going to look like a deal in a lot of their minds. And they've been, the ones that haven't bought, most likely have been waiting for this type of drop, a 30% drop, 35% drop from our peak. So yeah, again, I could be wrong. I do think the fundamentals are great for Bitcoin right now. And I have heard this scenario, basically it's a type of fractal where you have a very similar pattern here, and then it's called the bump and run, where you kind of bump the previous local bottom, bump it again, and then you take off like a rocket. So, and with Bitcoin, I feel like anything could happen. But yeah, I'm more swaying towards we're going to end up going lower here. And that might even happen on stream today because we are hitting that first target of support, which was the bottom we hit last Sunday. Um, so yeah, that's my macro view on Bitcoin, and where I think we might be headed in the short term. But again, this is not the top of the bull cycle in any effect, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice, but I think we are going to be hitting 100,000 minimum this cycle. I think 200,000 is possible, is a good possibility. So I'm not panic selling. I'm not, I don't have any fear of dropping down to these levels at all. Uh, it's really, from all indicators in the past, this is just, if anything, we're maybe halfway through this bull cycle. So, again, guys, don't be too worried. And on a more positive note, I've told you guys how bullish I am on Ethereum. Ethereum hitting all-time highs today, which is kind of crazy, right? But yeah, hitting all-time highs around 2,643. So that was pretty cool. A lot of the DeFi plays warming up. I've been telling you guys about a lot of plays I'm allocated to, and that I think, the charts look really good. So, and Ethereum, may be dipping at the moment with Bitcoin, but once things settle with Bitcoin, Ethereum has been starting to kind of separate itself, and, making all-time highs today is pretty crazy with where Bitcoin's at in its run. So, but again, I've been telling you Ethereum is due, and it is now moving along here. It passed this trend line, got support, and made a higher high here. So things are looking good. And with that, we do need to talk about Bitcoin dominance, which is getting a little spike. But again, even with these Bitcoin moves, it is not holding up. It lost this support the other day, and now has dropped even further. We are very, very close to 50% Bitcoin dominance, and if Bitcoin loses 50%, I think it's going to drop hard again. And the whole alt season narrative is very kind of tricky, especially this season, it feels like, or this cycle. Back in 2017, we had like and 2013, there was either one or two distinct alt seasons where, the majority of alts were doing, double digit gains every day for a while. They were doing 1 to 10x's, a lot of altcoins. So, in a matter of a week or two. So that hasn't really happened yet. Even though Bitcoin dominance has been falling since January, it's been falling quite a bit. It's went down 20%. But, I think if it does lose 50 and Ethereum starts going really separating from Bitcoin, you might see more of those, the money really flow out of Bitcoin. So we'll see, because even throughout all of this time, even with the corrections, Bitcoin really hasn't had a major correction that has scared people enough to take money out of Bitcoin and put them into the altcoins in a very short period of time. So we'll see what happens. But that 50% goes back to, we hit it here, we bottomed here, we hit it here, it was support here, and support back here in 2017, 2018, a couple times, and then this was a 52. So I wasn't. I'm basically talking about this for 2018 was a big resistance level, and when it dropped here in 2017. This was the major alt season I was talking about. So it is possible that it happens again here. So it held here throughout 2017 a few times. And when it finally broke, it was a major alt season. One of the biggest we've seen. So again, we'll see what happens, but either way, I think Bitcoin dominance is probably going to move in one direction pretty drastically. So if it does lose the 50, and I think we might see a major alt season. If it doesn't, I think Bitcoin may gain quite a bit, and the alts may bleed quite a bit. So, it's still kind of hard to tell here, but with Ethereum moving a lot better than Bitcoin, that's kind of your first major sign of a possibly a big run here. So we'll see what happens. Let's go to Bitcoin, because I think we are losing some if you guys like the content, feel free to subscribe or follow on Twitch. We're going to be watching Bitcoin throughout the stream, and guys, we are touching this level as we speak. So again, this is the point where we hit back last Sunday, I believe, when we first had this initial 15% correction there. So I could go to the 5-minute chart here. It is possible we get a bounce here and put in basically a double bottom in that same spot. That would be good, but to really make it kind of convincing, you're gonna need to see a higher high here over the next day or two. So how's it going, guys, in the chat? Let me zoom in here on Bitcoin. So again, we lost these trend line, so I can erase that one, and this one was lost, which is why we are falling here. So how's it going, 21? Okay. Yeah. Um, well, this is a 5 minute chart, and you can see right here when it got above this is a 21 and the 50 moving averages. It got a little bounce there. When it dropped below it, big drop, and a continued drop. So came back up, hit resistance on it, drop. So yeah, and we've already made a lower low here, so not looking great for Bitcoin right now, and it's probably going to drag most of the market down with it. Yeah, Ridvan, I'm with you, man. Bitcoin is ruining the party. Uniswap and Aave banned, the coins I've been talking about, all were having killer days today. Link and Ethereum, they were all killing it today. And now it's looking like Bitcoin's going to erase some of those gains anyway. I know. It's very annoying. I'm right there with you. Because I'm allocated more to alts, and Yannick's getting depressed. That's when you know it's a bad day. Yannick's supposed to be the happiest one here. Um, I don't know. I don't know anything about helium miners. And what are you mining? Ethereum? And also, I mean, I don't know if the helium part takes care of any of this, but you also have to think about electricity um, running the miners, because that can get pretty costly. So again, getting a 5 minute little bounce here, but nothing. Okay, but you're earning it in helium's value, right? Like you get, I think it said HNT. Oh, it's ranked 100. So why is it $100 with one device and two 1300 with two devices? Okay. What is I'll look into it more. So do you have to be in one of these hot spots? Hmm. It's interesting. Bitcoin dropping further, guys. I'm gonna look into it, 21. I mean, it's ranked 100 in market cap, so that being in the top 100 is not bad at all. Yeah, Rivdan, or Ridvan, I was saying in the beginning, I have these are the targets I'm looking at, but I said I think we're definitely headed down to some of these levels. Think 50,000 is, it's very possible we find some sort of support there temporarily. 47 to 48, I think that spot is good, and then 43,000 to 44. Those are the levels I'm looking. How you doing, Abdelkader? Sorry, didn't say that right, I'm sure. Yeah, it's going down again. I would be surprised if we didn't get a some sort of support at 50,000. In Bitcoin, I don't know what your trade is. Well, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. What I can tell you is I believe we will be making a higher high than 65,000 this year for sure. So that's what I think is going to happen. So, whether you want to, take the risk of it, popping back up from where you sell it at, that's up to you. But if you're holding long term, I have Bitcoin. I'm not worried whatsoever about it. Yeah, there's always a chance it pops up again. I think it's less probable at this point. I think we will be going down to at least 50,000 at this point. That would be the bare minimum. And then we have a few levels I'm looking at here. I wanted to pull up, let me see here. Let me find it here. Nope. That's not the one I want. Can't find the one I'm looking at for. All right, guys. So yeah, we're down to almost 50,000. Let me know if there's any coins you guys want to look at, even though they're all going to be mainly all of them will probably be dropping with Bitcoin. Yeah, that's right. That's why I was saying between 43 and 44. I was doing the 21 week, but yeah, that's why I think that level Redvan is very possible. That's where we, the 21 week, 20 week EMA, that is where in 2017, when we had big corrections, that's where we got our bounce if we lost the 50-day EMA. So that's where, that's where we get that number from. So, you know, getting a decent $1,000 bounce from 50,500. But yeah, this is a very short time frame, and I I don't know if it's going to be enough. I'm sure there are a ton of people with buys at 50,000. 21, I really don't know. I would be guessing if I told you, but I mean, if you're trying from what you've described, what you're trying to do, like quick 1 minute type trades, I would think 1 or 2 minutes would be best, because it just gives you a little more defined level of what you're looking at. So yeah, the weekends, you never know though. Some weekends, what could happen is we pump back up to like 57,000, and then come Monday we drop down to 45. That is always possible, because most weekends are bullish, um, and then it corrects during the week or the beginning of the week sometimes. So not the past weekend though, that was bad. So I got my hair cut today for you guys, so just for you guys. I was gonna let it grow down to my shoulders, but let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Getting a nice little spike here, but we've seen this story before. Um, and it never really seems to hold up. So and you can tell what's happening with Bitcoin just from the Bitcoin dominance chart. If it's going up, Bitcoin's going down, and if it's going down, Bitcoin's going up. So a lot of the times when I wake up in the morning, I go to Bitcoin dominance first. That's like the first thing I look at. And I'll know just by looking at it whether Bitcoin is up or down. let's see here what we're working with. So on a very short-term time frame here on the 15-minute chart, we have this downward trend. So even with, you know, this wick is nice. Like that means a lot of buyers were waiting. And, you know, if buyers are very convinced that Bitcoin's going to get a bounce off the $50,000 level, they're probably going to put their buys up a little higher to make sure they get it. So around the $50,500 level, that's where we got the bounce, and we're already up about 1,200 from there. So we will see, but there's still this downtrend since, you know, a few hours ago that needs to be broken. Let me look at Aave. Man, Bitcoin ruins everything, man. Aave had a great couple days and it all went down. But compared to other coins, you know, it's still up 3.5% today, so it's still up 7% against Bitcoin. So not horrible. Uniswap, same sort of thing here, but again still up 7% on Bitcoin today. Let's see where Ethereum's at. You hope it continues going up. Me too. If you guys like the content, feel free to give me a follow or subscribe on Twitch or YouTube. Really appreciate it, or both. It just helps. I'm trying to get more and more people to grow the channel here. Let's see how we're doing here. Let's go back to the 5-minute. Okay, a nice engulfing green 5-minute candle off the bottom here. So again, I'm not going to be convinced whatsoever though until we break this downward trend here. But that could easily happen if enough people get convinced that we're bottoming here and they want to catch the ride up, make some money on their way up. So sounds good, 21. I'll take that. Yeah, 52,000 now. Let me turn the RSI here. So a lot of traders are also going to be using the RSI here. So basically, whenever it gets below the 30% here, that means it is on this time frame, on the 5-minute, that means it's oversold. So a lot of day traders will be looking at like the 5-minute, sometimes the hourly chart, sometimes maybe the 15-minute, and wait for that RSI to get below there, and they'll buy at that point. And if it gets above 70 here, that's when they will sell. That, it doesn't mean it's going to go 30 to 70 and back and forth, but yeah, those are normally, that's why you get these little bounces at this point. You can see right here we got a little bounce. Right here we got a little bounce. But again, it doesn't always happen right away. Like here, bounce, and it went even lower, and then bounce. So I'm not sure what stochastic, if I'm saying that right, RSI is. I don't know if that's the exact same thing as the normal RSI. Okay. If we take a look back, if we look at like let's go to the week chart for Bitcoin here. So on the weekly, we had higher high our our high here. You can see where the RSI is. Then we had our higher high here, and then an even higher high here, and same here. And this RSI, so we're having higher highs but lower highs on the RSI. So this is one of the reasons I think we may be headed down, further to like 40, mid 40s is definitely possible. And to kind of get a reset here on the RSI on the weekly would be good for Bitcoin. Kind of this cool down period I've been talking about. But yeah, this is a macro bearish sign right here. From here, this downward trend here versus this upward trend on the weekly. So that is a bearish sign, macro. And then let me see here on the weekly, let's see, the MACD, we are about to have this cross, which happens, it's I believe the 12 and 26 week moving averages, and when they cross you normally get it means the buying momentum. In this case, it means the buying momentum is waning and we're moving into selling momentum. So again, a pretty big indicator that we might have more downside here. So you got the MACD and the RSI, and then just the rounding off here after moving up so high. So the macro picture for Bitcoin right now, it's not like devastating, but it's indicating we're probably need some a cooling off period here. So, and you're not going to really find those type of signals when you go in on the hourly or the 15-minute. Sometimes you can get it on the 4-hour. You can get these signs on, but it's not going to show you a more broad, longer term indication. Let's see here. 21 wants me to check out this. There it is. Okay, so it's using just a few different, probably the blue one is the normal RSI. And I take it when they cross, not just when they dip below, but when they cross, that's probably when you want to buy possibly. Gotcha. So Ethereum falling pretty hard here. It's still up 6% on Bitcoin today, so if we look at the Bitcoin BTC chart, this is kind of the channel that Ethereum has been on for the past year and a half almost against Bitcoin. So you know, we passed a key level here today and we are holding there. So the next level is going to be around 0.51 and then 0.53, 0.0536. So yeah, definitely some nice movement, Bitcoin against Ethereum against Bitcoin. How's it going, Dogecoin whale? Anything you guys want to take a look at, let me know. We've basically just been keeping an eye on Bitcoin because pretty much the entire market is following it. So this is the 15-minute. I'll go to the 5-minute. So you can see we got back above our bottom from last Sunday, and now we seem to be kind of making it some support, but we'll see if it holds. We're still, you can see we're bouncing off the 5-minute, the 5-minute 21 EMA. So I'm doing good, man. These drops really don't bother me too much because I'm more of a swing trader and more long term, you know, normally holding for some sort of months or longer than that when it comes to Bitcoin. Feel free to subscribe if you like the content. So apparently, I guess, yeah, Doge, I would believe I could see being in some pain today because it's already had its like humongous run, so this is Doge here. Yeah, and you lost this trend line here, so not great. I hope you made a ton on the way up. Apparently, Biden announced some tax stuff, which may be having some sort of effect on Bitcoin at the moment, but I think this was probably happening either way. Yeah, you really gotta have diamond hands and a lot of patience and go through a lot of sucky days. I'm gonna erase this previous bottom because we've lost it. So yeah, man, I hate that stuff. It puts a negative, a negative blanket over all of crypto when there's so many scams and, you know. No. And a lot of the people that got burned won't ever touch it again. Or at least for a while. Which may be a good thing, but... Let's go to the hourly. Just see how the hourly candles look. Not good. How's it going, Trip Sauce? Temporarily, it is quite possible this $50,000 mark is could hold at least for a day. It's hard to tell, but macro view on Bitcoin is that we are due for a decent correction. And this has really only been about, let's see, from the top, let's say the peak, we're down 22%. So I don't think we're going to drop much more than so 30% would be 45,000. So I think that's certainly possible over the next few days. Getting it somewhere in the 40s, mid 40s is definitely possible. But long term, I think that will just kind of build up the pressure for us to take off and move closer to 100,000 eventually. So yeah, so with, you know, the alt started to move as soon as Bitcoin found some sort of couple day footing here. It sucks. Bitcoin's ruining everything. We've been talking about that. But if Bitcoin keeps dropping, like this is Bitcoin dominance, even with Bitcoin's, you know, drops, it still has been kept in a downtrend. So normally, you know, if Bitcoin drops, you know, down to 30,000 like in a couple hours, then you're going to see the alts bleed very heavily against Bitcoin. But if it keeps making these, like, you know, couple $1,000 moves, then, you know, kind of this couple days goes by, it drops 2 to 3,000. Couple days go by, it drops again. I think Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to fall. And yeah, we're getting close to the 50% Bitcoin dominance. If that breaks, I think we're going to see a lot of alts move very high. So in really any scenario, alts will probably do well unless Bitcoin rockets up or rockets down. If it gradually does up or down or sideways, I think alts will, you know, continue to do well. We kind of got our first glance, Ethereum making all-time highs today, and a lot of the DeFi plays, you know, doing the best today. Aave, Maker, Curve, Compound, Rune, or Thorchain, Chainlink, Band. So they all did well, and they're all kind of part of the DeFi, the top DeFi plays. Yeah, let me check it out. Yeah, so we looked at this the other day. Um, yeah, again, if you take a step back here, it's still holding that level. I think I told you, like, I would be surprised if $1.16 broke. If $1.16 breaks, uh, you might be in some trouble. Um, but again, the only way I see that really breaking is if Bitcoin, you know, drops down to like 40,000 tonight, uh, or, even in the next couple days. But if it's more of like a slow grind down, which doesn't always happen, but it does sometimes happen. So, um, this could easily hold where it is. Yeah, and I mean, your falling wedges, I mean, you can see you got to bounce almost at the same exact spot you've been getting these bounces. So that's kind of a nice little support area for you. And then you have another one at 116, but again, you can see you did wick below it because of Bitcoin. So um, it's really not so much half over, but more Bitcoin. Your wedges will break if Bitcoin, you know, drops here, because it's not like you're up here, um, and you have more support levels below you. You really don't have much support until you hit 99, basically a dollar. That's your next support. Um, there. So if you do break 116, I would expect to go down to a dollar. Um, yeah, it's only worth it if Bitcoin drops. It's hard. It's really hard to know. Um, yeah, I'm looking at the picture up on my top screen here. Yeah, I mean it's kind of what I'm saying here. Really, all you have to look at is the bottom here. It's that 4 times you got to just about this level. So this keeps holding when Bitcoin dips a little. So um, if you break this, you're probably going down to 116. If you break 116, you're probably going down to a dollar. So Um, I mean, I don't think that's going to be very strong support if Bitcoin drops. That's what I'm saying. It's not like HTR is going to stay up there even if Bitcoin drops another few $1,000s. Um, Most likely, most of the alts are going to do the same. Yeah, I mean, it's just difficult to know if Bitcoin, there's a lot of people who said 50,000 will be, Bitcoin will go down to 50,000 and hold there. So, a lot of people are saying low 40s. So, not many people are saying below 40,000. And I agree. I don't think it's going to go below 40,000. Um, but yeah, it's very hard to. Oh, let's see. It's hard to. It's hard to tell. This is the hourly chart. Like this wick is nice on this candle because basically this candle's saying price went all the way down to here, but it all got like almost $1,500 got worth, of price action got bought up all the way back up to here, and now we're still moving higher. So, it's way too early to tell. We're still in a downtrend. Um, yeah, yeah. I have heard like 38,000. There was some significance to that level too. But yeah, if it hit down there, I think it would probably wick right back up, um, pretty fast back up above 40,000. One guy I saw somebody on Twitter found an old wallet, like an old crypto wallet account where he bought a little bit of theta and now it's worth over $1 million. It's crazy. Is that the face you're making, Red Van? Yeah, that is lucky. Oh man. I gotta put a little in HTR just based off of your conviction, I think. So here's Michael Vandepump. I don't know if that's his real name, but he put up this graph yesterday. So maybe we're gonna do this, guys. Now we've come down, hit this level, and then the bump and run scenario. So we'll see. And the other thing that can totally turn this around is if we get yeah. Do you have Twitter, Redvan? I don't know if there is a... Hold on. I'm just going to put his name up on here because believe it or not, I've never actually typed in the chat because I have it's on like multi-stream, so it won't let me type in the chat because I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitter at the same time. But I'll put this up again. You could... His name's right here. Oh, let me make it full screen for you. I'm sure there's a way I could do it. I just don't know yet. Nope, this is the... So if we see here, Bitcoin has possibly broken this. Let me go in on the 5-minute here. Well, maybe not. It's getting close to breaking this downtrend from the past few hours. So what you want to see here, guys, is you have your bottom, and then, you know, you could go in on the 5-minute. You need the 5-minute trend to change. So higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Now we want a higher low here. And then once you get the 5-minute, you know, normally I start with like the 15 maybe. But yeah, we don't have enough time here, but we don't have enough time since we bottomed out. But then you zoom out and you wait for the hourly trend to change, then the 4-hour, then the 12-hour, then the daily. So, you know, some people feel like once the hourly trend has changed, that's a good signal that we're going to have some sort of rebound. Some people more conservatively wait for the 4-hour trend to change, and so on. You know, some people wait for the weekly trend to change. So but yeah, not enough price action yet to feel good about any price action yet. But yeah, I hope that chart is right. And yeah, Duck got a haircut today. It was getting a bit crazy. You've probably noticed. So thanks, man. Bitcoin had a little trim today too. So Yeah, I'll check them out, Trip Sauce. Um, yeah, Doc, I'm not convinced yet that we're done, but it is a possibility. Sorry, I don't, you know, people, we just showed like a chart where somebody kind of drew this exact level, and then we kind of, I think he called it like the bump and run kind of, where you hit this level twice and then you go off again, go up again. So, um, you know, I'm leaning more towards maybe we hold around this level of around 50,000 for, a couple more days. Going into the weekend, things can get crazy. So, um, we'll see, but mid 40s would not surprise me. Yeah, long term, the rest of this year, I'm not worried at all. I think there's tons of people, tons of probably institutional money waiting for, you know, some are probably waiting for 50 grand, some 40 grand, some maybe 30 grand, and they may never get that opportunity. So, yeah, we did get a bounce from here. So, again, basically 50,000. I think traders looking at that mark are just buying a couple hundred above it because they think they won't get their buys in uh, right at 50,000. So, yeah, there is, support here. It's just time will tell. It's more the when we zoom out here. I got a couple minutes left, guys, but again, just for like, Duck, who just joined us here on the macro scale, you got, turn these off so you can see the MACD. Let's go to the weekly. So this is a real macro view of the full run we've had. The weekly chart here, if you look at the MACD here, when these two lines cross, that means we're going into selling momentum. And the buying momentum has waned, and now we're going to be heading into selling momentum. So this here, and on the weekly chart, which is arguably, a better, more reliable standard than, the hourlies. So, we might still have some downward pressure. And the same thing is on the the RSI. So we've had our highs here back in January. Our high, you know, we had a higher high in February, higher high early March, and higher high in April. And so all higher highs, but the highs on the RSI at the same level, we have bearish divergence here. Lower, 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 lower. So MACD on the weekly, RSI on the weekly, and then just looking at the price action with everything, with all the drawings gone, looks like we are rounding here and you know, possibly going to make a, you know, a lower high, at least on the, a lower low, at least on the daily chart. So, but yeah, really anything above, really anything above 43,000 on the weekly would still be a higher low. So so yeah, but yeah guys, it is yeah, if in doubt, zoom out. I like that. So, you know, I would be very surprised if we go lower than 43,000. I think it is possible, but I don't really think that's going to happen. That's just my opinion, but I don't think that's going to happen. All right, guys. It's Thursday, so I won't be on till Monday. Hopefully Monday, everything has turned around by then. And our alts are pumping and Bitcoin's doing well. Or at least steady. That's what we want. Sideways, steady, I like that. Because Ethereum pumps and then all my alts pump when that happens. So, but I hope you guys enjoy the stream. Give me a follow or a like or subscribe. I really appreciate it, guys. I will see you on Monday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. Have a good weekend, guys.